try to get it later. And then Sergio Romo, 54. I'm like, okay. I just don't think this is going to happen. So basically, I was stuck with 65 all the way through with the Twins. They asked me, the Mets are like, hey, you want to change your number? Like off your rookie number? And I go, Kate, my wife, I was like, Kate, what number should it be? She's like, 65, Trevor. I have a jean jacket with 65 in the back.
There
You're
you
not
go.
changing your number. So I'm like, you know what? I'm 6'5". It makes sense. 65 is my number. They gave it to me. I have an identity now with it, and we're going to stick with it. And
Good choice.
you know what?
Good
No
choice.
one's ever going to have it on a team I'm on. And then it's
Right.
funny, Gesellman had it. And I'll never forget. I texted him, hey, bro, can I have your number? He's like, oh, my God, please take it. Can I have 44?
Wow.
And I go, sure. And I asked Kev, our equipment guy, I was like, can he have 44? He's like, yeah, sure. I was like, yeah, dude, you got it. He's like, oh, you're the best. I was like, oh, I thought he was going to have to give you money or something. All right, cool. Thanks, man. He wanted to get rid of that thing like the plague. So now I got it.
Wow.
So here we are.
Well, Lindor has my number 12, so I'm not getting that on the Mets.
Yeah, probably not.
No. Do you prefer day games or night games?
Do I prefer day games or night games? Generally, night games. I like consistent sleep timing.
Right.
So
right.
I like, we had a stretch where we had like 10 straight night games. Now the Mets get night game getaway days just about every series. So, but that's okay because you could sleep in. You can catch up on your sleep. You can't catch up on sleep for a day game. Like once you're up, you're up. There's no catching up anywhere. So limiting that a little bit is a little bit better for me. But in terms of actually playing the game, I actually like playing in the sunlight. Like I enjoy the game. I feel like I have more energy when it's sunny. So it's a weird two-sided coin, but I would say generally night games.
Right. Okay, Anxious2 asks, what is your favorite inning to pitch in? Do you like the 5th, 6th, 7th, etc.?
The 8th or the 9th.
Right.
I love the big like the big, lock it down inning. I like the I talk to my friends and stuff about it. Like our whole day is ramping up all day. Like mentally,
Right.
we wake up, we're like, I got to pitch tonight, and then everything is like pointing towards that moment. And there's stress involved, but there's also like excitement and apprehension a little bit. Like I hope you have to fight it, but and you hate it all day, and then you go pitch. You're like, I love that. Like it's so weird. That's the thing I'll miss most when I'm done playing. But I really love going out, shutting the door because there's no better like relief and a feeling of accomplishment when you do that job. And generally, it's just get 3 outs. So it's like not the hardest job in the world. You can fall into success sometimes there too, and that's kind of nice. So. What the flip side of that coin is, though, if you make one mistake, then everyone will hate you forever. But it's just you just walk that tightrope. That's the part. But I like being able to. I like picking up Shug when he has a day off. I like getting those opportunities. I've talked about this a lot. I think that being a reliever and like locking in and wanting to be a reliever, you should want to close because I think that will make you the best version of yourself. If that makes sense.
Right.
Do you feel like you pitch better in high leverage situations?
Yes, and I would say that not that I don't pitch well in no leverage, because I'm pretty good at faking that leverage in my head, because I just don't like to fail or lose. But no one does, but I really don't. But I would say I would take pride in my ability, at least the last few years, to strand runners, inherited runners, and my own. I'm really good at giving up a single and a double and then, getting out of it somehow. And I had quite a few of those this year too. Just traffic on the bases makes me better sometimes.
Right. All right, here's one. Can you tell us about your love for cats? And does your wife send you pictures of your cats when you're on the road like Ruvain's wife does? What?
All the time.
Really?
You
all
get it
the
too?
time.
Okay, good.
You get that too, Ruvain?
I get it all the time. When I'm at work, I'm sitting at my desk and I get a picture of a cat doing something. Yes, I always get that all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do it all the time. We have 2 cats. Mostly because one of our older cat, her name is Elsie. She's 14. She was my wife's cat in high school. So
Oh, wow.
she came to live with us when we first moved in together. Her mom was like, take the cat. And so now we have the cat. And I was like, I grew up with cats. I had a dog. I had several dogs. I mean, we lived a little bit in rural Washington. So like we had like 4 cats that would just run out into the woods and come back at night for food. And then, sadly, like every once in a while they wouldn't come back because we just lived in the woods. So, but I always had cats around. So I love cats. But then baseball life, and it's so funny because a lot of baseball players are like, dogs are the way, except I'm like, yeah, but you got to wake up at 7 and go, like that doesn't equate with the baseball life,
Jeff
man.
McNeil with his dogs, right?
Yeah, like you're getting up to feed them and stuff. They're great. Dogs are amazing. I cannot wait to get a dog. But with the baseball life, cats are just easier. Like you put the food out, they feed themselves. They poop in a box. You don't have to take them outside. They don't. It's just lower maintenance. You can leave them alone for 2 or 3 days, and they're okay. I wouldn't recommend longer than that, but they're
don't do
okay generally.
Don't do it longer than that. It's not a good idea.
Maybe 2 days
cats.
a weekend.
Yeah.
Go to Vegas. Yeah. That's Vegas trip. Just think of it the Vegas trip rule. A cat could survive fine in a Vegas trip. And travel. Traveling's huge. So we each take one as a carry-on the flight to spring training, and we each take one on a flight home from New York after.
Oh, wow.
And that's how it works. That we can't have 3 though, because then we'll be outnumbered, and we can't take that many cats on a plane. So,
Right.
and I've always played like 3,000 miles from my home. So that's just the way. That's mostly why. But we added it. We added a cat. His name's Donnie. He's 1 now, and he's a British Shorthair. And he's so fat and huge, and he weighs 3 times as much as Elsie now. So he's 21 pounds, and she's 7.
Wow.
So
Wow.
let's just say when he wants, she doesn't play. She's 14. She just hasn't played in 6 years. And when he wants to play, yeah, he wins. Yeah, he wins. So, but yeah, love him. And he's so cute. They're just so cute, and they're always like, whenever I'm gone, when I lay on the couch, I have to shift my body all the time because I'm always uncomfortable because I'm an athlete and that's what happens. And my wife can sit still for 30 minutes, so they just lay on her and then ignore me.
You just have to make sure if you're taping anything, like you're doing a podcast or something, or taping a video, they're not near your computer because they will walk all over it and screw everything up.
Oh yeah, and you should see my cable management right now. He is not allowed in here because he'll see all the stuff dangling. And be like, there's so many toys under there. And he will just pull everything out. So
yes, correct.
Yeah, I have to shoo him away. But fortunately, I'm always talking on my mic, and he thinks someone's here, so he doesn't come in here very often. He thinks like there's a stranger, and he doesn't want to. So he's always hiding. But so that's the benefit.
Last question here. Besides the Beat the Shift podcast, of course, what are your favorite pod streams to listen to or watch?
Ooh, great pods and streams. I have been listening to this Smart List podcast. Like I've listened to every episode, I think. That is Jason Bateman.
Oh my
Sean.
God. I just had that conversation at work today, and somebody just brought that. I never heard of it before today, and there you go.
Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean. Sean's last name. Sean from Will and Grace. 3 actors.
Right.
Oh my God, the hard heavy hitters they have on this is incredible. They just had Tom Hanks, Jeff Daniels,
and they don't know who the guests are. Like only one of them knows.
One of them knows, yeah.
Right,
One of them pulls out the old, I'm Jason Bateman, come on my podcast, and then they go. And but I love just the same way that people love hearing about like our superstitions and our day in the life and stuff. I love hearing about actors and the same thing for them, all these people and how similar they are and to their characters that they play. It's hilarious. So it's always really, and they do a good job, and it's funny and whatever. But and then my wife, actually, she's a huge podcaster, and we have a routine when we're getting ready for bed is where she puts on one of her podcasts. So lots of like educational stuff, like the history of fashion. For whatever reason, I'm like, I don't know why I'm into this, but I'm so into this. Explaining like why pockets exist. Like where did pockets come from and how they got to where they are? That's so interesting. I don't know why. I never thought about it before, but it is. Things you missed in history class. It's the same, like, I think they have overlapping hosts. And it's just literally they pick an event and then they break it down for you.
Yeah.
And it's just
the untold story.
Untold story, exactly. And another just like, and as a podcaster myself, I'm also like, what an awesome format. You're never going to run out of stuff, ever. You could have 100,000 episodes and people will still listen. Man, I
Yeah.
should have thought of that.
Right.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to check out the podcast with Jason Bateman now. I got 2 recommendations. Smart List. Unbelievable, yeah. I will check that out. That brings us to the end of the show. Before we go, well, first of all, this was a fantastic episode, Trevor. Really appreciate you coming on and giving us your insight into personal and into all the pitching. We do a lot of analytics here, and you fit right in. Apparently after baseball, you're going to become an analyst, is what you're telling us here, right?
Maybe, or a pundit. I mean, I would love to
yeah.
be. I would love to be a pundit that had a little bit of a idea what I'm talking about with the analytics. We're getting there a little bit, but
there you go.
Sometimes that's lacking a bit. I did have, before we just. If I had one question for you,
yeah,
how does it feel being part of Fangraphs and possibly being a metric used to in arbitration to get guys paid?
Yeah,
that's so interesting.
That's kind of neat. No, that it's a great feeling when I heard it. Wow, actually, stuff that we work on here is actually being right into the system. Like they're almost going to directly be involved and calculated off it. It's a great feeling. I listened the very first time that my ATC projections were up on Fangraphs, and it said projections by Ariel Cohen. I'm like, oh my god, wow! I'm on the site and people are looking at it. It's it really is a great feeling. So definitely.
But it's a lot of pressure also. It's a lot of pressure.
A little bit of pressure. Yeah. And you know what? Some guys could just be really mad.
Well,
why is my F4 so low? Please, it's arbitration here.
I never thought about it from the player's perspective. I just do my thing, and computers and algorithms don't really have feelings. I just do my numbers, and I don't sit there and is this guy going to feel bad if I project him low? I don't really do that.
Yeah, well. And when it starts to affect your money, you start to care real fast. But yeah, it's very. I thought that was so unprecedented and cool, so I thought I'd just bring it up last year. But
yeah,
anyway, sorry.
There you go.
Continue what your outro you were doing.
No, awesome. No, again, I wanted to thank you. You could, everyone who's listening, you can follow Trevor on Twitter at I am Trevor May. Is there anything else you want to promote? Maybe your shows and other podcasts that you're doing?
Sure. I actually run a podcast called the May Contain Action Podcast. It is myself and my friend Action Jackson, as he is known on the internet on Twitter or Twitch, because in gaming everyone's got a screen name, and we bring on other creators and we talk about creating content, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. It's all really interesting and fun, and we've had some really interesting people on there. And I'm actually working on a format for the Trevor May podcast. It's come in and out a little bit over the years, just kind of breaking down stuff very similar to what we did today, just like concepts and things, how I prepare. We're working on a format for that, so that will be sustainable through a season, because as you can imagine, time comes at a premium there, and I would love to be able to do something fairly consistently that would be fun to listen to. So look out for those two things, and other than that, I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll get a front seat for 100 other projects that I'm working on at the moment.
Definitely. And definitely check out the Trevor May Baseball channel on YouTube. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Trevor breaking down pitches, other pitchers, himself, and goals for the year. And it's just absolutely worth a listen. One of the best baseball YouTube channels out there. So everyone check that out.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Ruvain, why don't you just tell us where we can see your stuff?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at MLB Injury Guru, where I tweet out injury updates throughout the course of the season and the off-season. I'm going to be going over some off-season injuries and what to expect from the players in the upcoming season, starting mid-December. And I also have a weekly injury article on Rotoballer during season.
All right, my name's Ariel Cohen, and you can see my work over at Fangraphs. The ATC projections will be out in just a couple of short months. Of course, according to Fantasy Pros, the ATC projections were the most accurate projections for the last 2 years in a row since they've been reviewing my work. So definitely worth checking out. That'll be up just in time for your fantasy drafts coming up soon. All right, well, once again, thanks again to Trevor May for joining the show. And from all of us here at Beat the Shift, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Beat the Shift podcast presented by Fangraphs. Follow us on Twitter at beat_shift_pod.